we'll be talking about glycemic index. So what is glycemic index? Glycemic index, also known as GI, measures how quickly the blood glucose level rise after ingesting food containing carbohydrates. So GI is measured by numbers from 0 to 100. Food with a GI of 55 or less is considered as low. A GI of 56 to 69 is medium or moderate. And a GI of 70 to 100 is considered as high. So how is GI measured? Well, the GI value of a food is determined by feeding 10 or more people, healthy people, a portion of the food containing 50 grams of digestible carbohydrate. Then measuring the effect on their blood sugar levels over the next 2 hours. Now, if you look at this graph over here, if a person ate high GI food, or his or her blood sugar levels will increase very rapidly shortly afterwards and then drop rather quickly soon after. This creates a sugar high and low. Whereas if a person ate low GI food, his or her blood glucose levels will not rise as rapidly, and the effect of glucose or sugar is much more sustained over a longer period of time. And so, what does GI has anything to do with health then? Well, studies have found that eating low GI meals can improve BMI and promoting weight loss. So if you want to lose weight, eat low GI meals. And many studies have also found that eating low GI meals can reduce the chance of type 2 diabetes and coronary heart disease later in life. And some studies have also shown that eating low GI meals may reduce the risk of having some cancers. And GI loading, many people have been using GI loading strategies before their exercise regimes, and because they think that it may help them with performance. However, there are no enough scientific evidence to show that GI loading or having low GI meals before an exercise can enhance performance in any way, unless the performance is really low intensity, I guess. Then having low GI meals may help with performance. But overwhelming majority of the studies have shown that having low GI meals before an exercise can prevent hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar levels. And having low GI meals before an exercise can support better energy metabolism compared to having high GI foods. So GI seems to be a measurement of how healthy a food is, but there are also limitations of GI. So actually, GI does not tell you how much carbohydrate there is in a particular food, even though it's a measurement of the amount of the effect of a carbohydrate. It also can't tell you how much fat there is or what additives are there in a certain type of food. For example, the GI of trans fat is 0, which is supposed to be very low. Well, it's the lowest you can get. And there's another example. The GI of a Super Supreme pizza is 36, whereas GI for grapes is 59. So grapes have a higher GI than a Super Supreme pizza, but a Super Supreme pizza is no way healthier than grapes. So how could that be? Well, GI measures how fast your blood sugar goes up after eating 50 grams of carbohydrate contained in a particular food. A pizza may contain 50 grams of carbs in one slice, whereas if you want to have 50 grams of carbs, get 50 grams of carbs from grapes, you may have to eat a whole kilo of grapes. So this comparison is not really unfair. It's not really fair. And therefore, it's a common myth. Low GI does not equal to being healthy. So many health professionals have seen this problem, and they figured out another type of measurement, to improve the limitation of GI, and this is called the glycemic load. Glycemic load, which is GL, measures GI per serving. So they taken the amount of food you eat into account. A glycemic load of less than 10 is considered as low, 11 to 19 is considered as medium, and 20 or more is considered as high. So now, a watermelon has a very high GI of 71, but since watermelon only contains less than 5% carbohydrate, and the glycemic load of watermelons is 4, which is very low. But there are also limitations of using the glycemic load index, because it only measures the carbohydrate content in food. When you have food with no carbohydrate, for example, pure fat, you will have a glycemic load of 0, which does not equal to healthy either. So the final words is that GI and GL, glycemic index and glycemic loads, are useful tools that can be used to optimize our diet. But you have to know that the information they provide is very limited. And not all low GI food is good. For example, pizzas. And not all good food has a low GI. For example, carrots, which has a very high GI. So you need to understand their limitations, understand what they measure, and do not believe in the hypes, and therefore you can make wise choices for your own health. And that's the end of the webinar. Thanks for listening.